pretty much from the jump, it's been hard to keep track of all the many ways that shit has gotten just dumb as hell in this country in the last 9 months, and also keep track of all the various ghouls actively making things dumber. This administration is absolutely stacked from front to back with dangerously stupid individuals who have no idea what the hell they are doing, but think that they're the smartest person in the room.
Whew.
Last week, it was Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s turn to really show off how ridiculous it is that he's in charge of the country's healthcare. And this week, it was time for Pete Hegseth, Whiskey Pete, seen here accidentally kicking a skateboard into his nutsack to demonstrate just how out of his depth he is. The former Fox News host is widely considered to be the least qualified defense secretary in U.S. history, lacking both the relevant military and organizational leadership experience for the job. But he wasn't hired for his competence. He got the job because he looks good on TV and is a Trump loyalist and has the same antiquated, oversimplified, tough guy views on military issues that Trump has.
Yeah. So far during his tenure as Secretary of War, Hegseth has mainly used his position to try and root out any trace of woke from the U.S. military, which has primarily meant stuff like banning transgender people from serving and erasing the accomplishments of women and minorities, all while trying to seem really tough and alpha about it all. In fact, we're giving the Medal of Honor to people who served at Wounded Knee.
That's right. That's right.
Who served at Wounded Knee.
They served.
Not massacred.
They mowed down those women and children 150 years ago, and they did
it bravely.
They deserve our respect.
So when it was announced that Hegseth had told hundreds of the military's top brass around the world to drop everything and come to an in-person meeting in Virginia, no one was really sure what this was going to be about, but it must be something pretty damn important. It couldn't possibly be Secretary Headass just reiterating the same dumb bullshit that he's been saying the whole time about wokeness and DEI and war fighters to a captive audience of people significantly more qualified than himself, right? It couldn't just be that. Well, that's exactly what it was, actually. So,
no more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. As I've said before, and will say again, we are done with that shit. For too long, we've promoted too many uniformed leaders for the wrong reasons. Based on their race, based on gender quotas. We became the woke department. But not anymore. As foolish and reckless as the woke department was, those officers were following elected political leadership. An entire generation of generals and admirals were told that they must parrot the insane fallacy that, quote, our diversity is our strength. Of course, we know our unity is our strength. They had to put out dizzying DEI and LGBTQI plus statements. They were told females and males are the same thing, or that males who think they're females is totally normal. They were told that we need a green fleet and electric tanks. They were told to kick out Americans who refuse an emergency vaccine. They followed civilian policies set by foolish and reckless political leaders. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. I don't want my son serving alongside troops who are out of shape, or in combat unit with females who can't meet the same combat arms physical standards as men. Should our enemies choose foolishly to challenge us, they will be crushed by the violence, precision, and ferocity of the War Department. In other words, to our enemies, F-A-F-O. Words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign. We would thank you for your service.
This could have been an email, I think.
yeah, and honestly, if I'm being as open and honest as possible, pretty gay.
A little bit gay. And
Yeah.
clearly trying to, ripping off the opening shot from the movie Patton.
Yes.
It's all about appearances. The whole thing is just about aesthetics.
Yeah.
And
Pete, a certain look really gets Pete Hegseth going.
But I didn't think I could relate to our country's generals and admirals. But hey, we've all had that job where you're supposed to drop everything you're doing and come listen to the boss waste your fucking time.
And tell you that you're not in shape enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call you fat.
Yeah. Remember when you served in the Gulf War and now you're aging? Time to suck it up. Get out there on the obstacle course once again.
Yeah, but don't think too hard about that because the commander-in-chief of the military.
Yeah, he's extremely overweight.
Yeah, not in great shape, but
But everyone else, and by the way, no beards. Except for the Vice President of the United States, who also has a beard. But Hegseth's going to call what did he say? Like, quote, you beardos? Like weirdos?
That one in particular is literally just racist. It was only in the last 10 years or so they started doing beard vouchers, and it's for primarily black men who, if they shave on a daily basis, they get ingrown hairs because their hairs are curly. I know this because I had this problem in high school where I had to shave every fucking day. And would try to get out of it. I'd try to go as long as I could without shaving, but sometimes I'd get caught, and they'd force me to go in the bathroom with the worst razor ever, and I'd come out covered in blood, and they'd be like, "Yeah,
looking great,
definitely an improvement from that minor 5 o'clock shadow you had before." Anyway, a room full of generals had to just sit there and listen to an alcoholic rant about wokeness and DEI, and call our service members and the people in attendance fat. And, saber rattle at the rest of the world.
Again, just the weakest possible display when the intention is trying to be overly...
It does not exude confidence.
No, not at all.
This is some real
have to do
insecure shit.
Yeah.
Basically, he thinks that the U.S. military, the most advanced and well-funded military on Earth with troops stationed all around the world, has gone soft. And it's time to toughen up. And part of that toughening up apparently is to let drill sergeants hit recruits again, and also make it a lot harder for whistleblowers to report misconduct and discrimination and waste.
Okay.
Can't have any of that. Anyway, you may have noticed in those clips that despite the whole campaign rally vibe, the audience was pretty much dead silent, and that's mainly because of decorum. But it also sounds like attendees weren't particularly stoked about what they were forced to sit and listen to, and in many cases travel probably halfway around the world, forced to attend and watch this spectacle take place.
Yeah.
Here's raw story. Longtime Pentagon reporter Helene Cooper said that she can't find any military officials who attended the meeting in Virginia with President Donald Trump and Secretary Pete Hegseth and liked what they heard. I have yet to find a single military official who was in the audience today who thought that this was a good presentation, she told MSNBC on Tuesday afternoon.
All I've had from them so far, from the people I've talked to, is a combination of disbelief that some of them were made to fly from, some of them Asia, from all over the world, all the way to Quantico, to listen to the same familiar type of culture war complaints that we've been having since Trump was reelected, she added, calling Trump's remarks a campaign-style stump speech. Nothing that was said today could not have been put in an email or in a directive. So there's that, to begin with. There's also the fact that so much of this was partisan. And this is a military that is supposed to present itself as nonpartisan. So you didn't hear the kind of cheering that we usually get because President Trump is used to playing for the types of crowds that favor him, Cooper explained. And so he's not very used to performing in front of an audience that's just giving, looking back stone-faced. But that's what you were getting from these generals. The other thing she noted is that she's gotten so many emails from women in the military who are seeing this as a message that they are not welcome.
Yeah, he's saying that women are going to be held to the same fitness standards as men, which is literally, that's just a way to keep women out of important roles and keep them in purely support roles.
Yeah.
It's basically just turning the clock back.
And so much of
the
this
40s and 50s.
Yes.
Because that's when America was great, I guess. And Trump was there too.
Of course.
Forgot to mention that. For the most part, it was unclear why he was there. He got up on stage and he rambled in his usual Grandpa Simpson stream of consciousness way about all the usual shit that he rambles about at rallies, but with noticeably way less energy than usual. only occasionally remembering to like kind of stay on topic with the military stuff.
I said, didn't it used to be called the Department of War? And he goes, yes, sir. They changed it like in the early 50s. So we won the First World War. We won the Second World War. We won everything in between and everything before that. We only won. And then we went, in a way, woke. That was probably the first sign of wokeness. And we changed it to defense instead of war. And I said, what do you think? How do you think if we changed it back? Would that be a nice idea?
See, the problem was the flag behind him was too big. He couldn't get his arms around it.
Yeah,
I've got so much love to give.
He was too turned on.
Yeah.
Big, beautiful flag.
Yeah. The pole is sticking up right now.
But yeah, after rambling like that for quite a while, he got to the point, and the point was basically just reiterating what's abundantly clear at this point. Trump loves the idea of troops occupying large left-leaning cities, and he sees it as one of the U.S. military's core missions under his leadership. Which, again, nothing new, but still some pretty chilling stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
Washington, D.C. was the most unsafe, most dangerous city in the United States of America, and to a large extent, beyond that. You go to Afghanistan, they didn't have anything like that. You go to countries that you would think there's problems, they didn't have that. What they've done to San Francisco, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, they're very unsafe places, and we're going to straighten them out one by one. And this is going to be a major part for some of the people in this room. That's a war, too. It's a war from within. Portland, Oregon, where it looks like a war zone. And I get a call from the liberal governor. Sir, please don't come in. We don't need you. I said, well, unless they're playing false tapes, this looked like World War II. Your place is burning down. I mean, you must be kidding. Sir, we have it under control. I said, you don't have it under control, Governor, but I'll check it, and I'll call you back. I called her back. I said, this place is a nightmare. It's certainly not the biggest, but it's one of the worst. It's brutal. Our history is filled with military heroes who took on all enemies, foreign and domestic. You know that phrase very well. That's what the oath says, foreign and domestic. Well, we also have domestic. Only in recent decades did politicians somehow come to believe that our job is to police the far reaches of Kenya and Somalia, while America is under invasion from within. We're under invasion from within. No different than a foreign enemy, but more difficult in many ways because they don't wear uniforms. At least when they're wearing a uniform, you can take them out. These people don't have uniforms. But we are under invasion from within. We're stopping it very quickly.
Yeah, not great. So, I mean, we've been calling what Trump's been doing with the military in cities like LA and DC and now Chicago and Portland.
And Memphis.
A war on those cities. But I mean, here he is using that same language himself, which is nuts. Coming from a U.S. president.
The commander-in-chief of the military, saying these words is a little scary.
Yeah, it also sounds like our theory about him just being shown a bunch of fake, possibly AI-generated footage of these cities looking like war zones may have some truth to it.
Yeah,
because
I'm sure that
he's like, what you're saying doesn't match what I'm seeing, and they're like, trust me, I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm the mayor of Portland. It's not on fire. He's like, but in the pictures, it's on fire.
Well, in the first administration, he would refuse to even read the briefs that he was given on a daily basis. So now they're probably so they were actually, wasn't that the first administration where they're like, we're making a Fox News style show to deliver him
I remember that.
the daily briefings. Now they're probably just like, okay, put the briefing into someone's AI and have it create.
Just go on to Gemini and have it make a short clip of Antifa super soldiers burning down the entire city of Portland.
Stephen Miller's like, okay, and now also Antifa has infiltrated Portland and they've overturned the city. Put that in there as well. And so Trump sees it and he's like, oh my gosh, my stars, the military, we have to get them ready right now. Get me the biggest flag you've ever seen.
Anyway, not that it matters, but it's worth remembering that what Trump is describing here is in blatant violation of the Posse Comitatus Act, which limits the military's role in domestic law enforcement.
Oh, it's against the rules?
I mean, so far they've kind of worked around that by just having the troops kind of show up and not really fucking do anything aside from stand around as a show of force alongside actual law enforcement. But what Trump's talking about here is he seems to really want the troops going into these cities treating them like war zones, and that's not good. It's also illegal, but it's just not good regardless of the law. You would hope that the leaders in attendance at that meeting would agree with us that it's not good, but it's impossible to know until they are asked to do it.
Yeah.
Because they can either go along the ride or they're going to have to decide if there's a line that they won't cross.
Yeah. We'll have to see because that line keeps getting crossed.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's an annoying cliche at this point that anytime the Trump administration does anything, that it's a distraction from something else. But the timing of Pete Kegstand's pep rally does make it seem like it might have at least partially been an attempt to distract from the fact that the U.S. federal government, it's shut down. First time since 2018 when Trump was in office. Shut down, baby. And yeah, that seemed pretty likely to happen for a while now, but it happened. It came and it went, and the government is shut down.
We all saw this coming.
Enjoy all of your scheduled outings at our beloved national parks in the coming weeks.
Or don't.
Yeah, or don't at all, because it's going to be very tough for you.
I mean, it sounds like some of them, they're just leaving the door open. They're like, all right, don't break anything.
Yes.
Don't go poaching our nation's beautiful protected fauna.
Mm-hmm. So the reason for the shutdown, according to Republicans, is that Democrats are holding the government hostage because they want to give illegal immigrants free health care, which is obviously absurd and not true. But it sounds better than admitting that Republicans are trying to take away Medicaid coverage from millions of low-income and disabled Americans and jack up healthcare costs for Obamacare plans so that millionaires and billionaires can have tax cuts. And Democrats are trying to stop that from happening. But it's easier to just be like, you don't understand. They're trying to give illegal immigrants health care. And that's why we, the Republicans, who have the control of the House, the Senate, and the White House, are going to allow this to happen. Anyways, here's the New York Times. The Democrats' budget proposal seeks to extend Affordable Care Act subsidies set to expire at the end of the year and roll back Medicaid cuts in the tax cut and domestic policy law signed by President Trump in July. But the proposal does not provide free health care for unauthorized immigrants.
Unauthorized immigrants are largely barred from federally funded health care programs. They cannot buy health care plans on government exchanges set up by the Affordable Care Act and therefore cannot receive any subsidies. They're also ineligible for Medicaid, Medicare, and the Children's Health Insurance Program. The Democrats' budget proposal does not make them eligible for these programs. Senator Patty Murray, the top Democrat on the Appropriations Committee, acknowledged this disconnect in a statement. Undocumented immigrants are not eligible to enroll in federally funded health coverage under existing law or Democrats' funding proposal. But millions of American citizens will see their health care premiums double next year if Republicans keep refusing to act, she said. Republicans may be referring to the law changing the eligibility requirements for certain immigrant groups. Under the tax cut and domestic policy law, certain groups of lawfully present immigrants are no longer eligible for Obamacare subsidies. The Democrats' proposal would restore that eligibility.
All right, so basically refugees and asylum recipients make up a small portion of those who would lose coverage. And because Republicans consider those people to be illegal immigrants, even though they're not, they're twisting all this to say that the Democrats are trying to give free health care to illegal immigrants. There you go. They're not trying to do that. And in fact, what they're trying to do is something that a lot of Republicans who voted for the big, beautiful bill immediately turned around on and said, oh,
wait,
hold on,
wait. Did I sign that?
Oh, that's going to be very unpopular when it becomes time for re-election.
Yeah.
But yeah, meanwhile, if Republicans get their way, health insurance costs will more than double for millions of Americans who get their insurance through the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, which seems especially bad given how expensive everything else has gotten. So just another expense that's going to get marked up very soon. Here's CNBC. Premiums for health plans purchased over the Affordable Care Act marketplace will more than double in 2026 if enhanced subsidies expire at year's end as scheduled, according to an analysis published Tuesday by KFF, a nonpartisan health policy research group. The finding comes as Democrats and Republicans are locked in a stalemate tied to the enhanced subsidies that threatens to shut down the federal government early Wednesday morning.
The enhanced subsidies, or enhanced premium tax credits, make health insurance premiums cheaper for 22 million ACA enrollees. They're scheduled to expire at the end of 2025, absent congressional action. If the enhanced credits end, recipients would see their premiums increase to $1,906 in 2026, from $888 this year, on average, a 114% increase, according to KFF's analysis. Democrats want to extend the enhanced subsidies as part of a deal to fully fund the federal government in fiscal year 2026. Republicans say negotiations on continuing those credits should happen after the Senate approves the funding resolution. I should point out, too, that, like, I mean, they want to double the premiums, but even if they keep the premiums as they are, that's crazy. If you're living outside the United States, your hat probably just blew off your head. Like, they're paying what? On a fucking monthly basis? To maybe have to go to the doctor? It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, healthcare is horrifying here.
Anyway, this shutdown looks like it's going to last at least a few days.
Maybe more.
And during that time, most federal workers, nearly 1 million of them, are being furloughed, aka they're out of work, not being paid.
Or some are told to come right in and
yeah, a lot of them are going to work.
We'll get back to you.
Literally forced to go to work,
yeah,
but not getting paid, which is great for morale. And the last one in 2018 ended because like people just started using it like, fuck it, I'm just using my PTO.
Yeah.
This is bullshit. Most federal agencies are being staffed by skeleton crews of essential workers who aren't being paid, and they're therefore unable to do a whole lot. ICE, unfortunately, is considered very essential, so they're going to keep on doing their thing, but I guess you can take some heart knowing that they're out there not being paid while they terrorize immigrant communities. Basically, the government is operating on low power mode. And one of the most noticeable effects is, as usual, the national parks, which are either totally closed or open, but without anyone working, which is more concerning in a lot of ways.
The most liberal part of our American government, those disgusting, immoral national parks.
I mean, the last time this happened, 2018, Joshua Tree, a bunch of fucking dickheads on like ATVs started like just doing dunes out and like knocking over like 100-year-old yucca trees. It was fucked up.
Yeah.
And they couldn't, I mean, that park in particular, it's impossible to, it's not like it's walled in or anything. Yeah. But it's bad. It's bad all around. And if you planned this is the problem with planning a vacation to a national park, is that that's like the first thing they cut the cord on.
Moose out front should have told you. Park's closed. Anyways, the White House says that unless a deal is reached ASAP, there's going to be mass layoffs to the federal workforce, which is, of course, the Democrats' fault, and not the Republican Party, which controls, again, every branch of government.
Yeah, and is only putting their foot down here because they really want the richest people in this country
to have a little bit more.
Pay less taxes and have the rest of us foot the bill for it.
They're also, of course, using this opportunity to illegally punish various states that where Trump isn't very popular. Here's Reuters. U.S. President Donald Trump's administration on Wednesday froze $26 billion for Democratic-leaning states, following through on a threat to use the government shutdown to target Democratic priorities. The targeted programs included $18 billion for transit projects in New York, home to Congress's top 2 Democrats, and $8 billion for green energy projects in 16 Democratic-run states, including California and Illinois. Vice President J.D. Vance, meanwhile, warned that the administration might extend its purge of federal workers if the shutdown lasts more than a few days. The moves made clear that Trump would carry out his threat to take advantage of the shutdown to punish his political opponents and extend his control over the $7 trillion federal budget established by the U.S. Constitution as the domain of Congress. The government shutdown, the 15th since 1981, suspended scientific research, financial oversight, environmental cleanup efforts, and a wide range of other activities.
Yeah, I mean, the Democrats are in a really rough place here, but like, I think the best course of action here is to just not dignify this shit as real. Because as Trump is showing, Congress has no fucking power in this administration. They're, giving their stamp of approval to a budget that isn't fucking real. Trump is arbitrarily, illegally deciding where money goes and doesn't go. And that's not something new. That's been happening this entire administration, especially when Elon was back there pulling the fucking copper out of the backs of all the machines. And I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's probably room to compromise here.
Yeah, well,
but
not sure that's going to happen. Trump just keeps posting increasingly racist AI generated videos.
Yeah,
they were playing the Hakeem Jeffries in a sombrero at the White House before the press briefing today on screens that were like in the room.
It is literally the art form and technology of fascism.
Yeah.
And that gets proven more and more correct with each passing day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, man.
Well, because no matter what, like the Democrats have already like completely lost the information war. So no matter what happens, this is all their fault.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That is what pisses me off the most about this is Democrats are so bad at messaging that
because you have Chuck Schumer walk out and go, they're not going to get away with this illegal power grab. And the country's like, who can't, like, what? Come on.
Yeah, or just like explain what's happening. Like they just totally
like what is actually going to be lost again.
Yeah,
and
no attempt whatsoever to like even claim the narrative or anything.
Yeah.
Just letting the Republicans run wild with it. And it's like, yeah, if you don't do that, then they can say it was all your fault.
Yeah.
And if you didn't make any effort to like actually explain to the country why you're doing this, you will get blamed for it. Anyway, it's the first full federal government shutdown since Trump's first term. That one lasted for longer than a month. So this could go on for a while, but you'll surely be pleased to know that construction on the White House's new 90,000 square foot ballroom will continue despite the shutdown. So that's nice at least, right?
Yeah, because all that money came from all the lawsuits that the companies just handed over to Trump.
Yeah, it's privately funded, which that doesn't seem like how it should work, but that's how it's working.
Yes.
So maybe if we funded all of our government projects with private bribes, we'd never have a shutdown again. Did you ever think of that? Don't
sure.
give him too many ideas. Anyway, that's enough politics.
I was gonna say, I feel like the country's been trying that for a couple decades.
That's
now.
been the plan.
Yeah, that was the whole plan, and then that obviously has not worked. In fact, things have gotten terrible.
But the plan so far is like take taxes and give it to private companies. This way, you just sue all the private companies.
Yeah.
You launch frivolous lawsuits at them with the clear implied threat that you will hurt them and their bottom line if they fight you. And then you shake them down and they give you your money and you don't have to worry about budgets or Congress or any of that
Americans
shit. You can build your ballroom.
They hate taxes. They love settlements.
That's right.
Even because then it's like, oh, well, I had to pay, you got sued and you had to pay it. Taxes, it's like, oh, boo, taxes.
Too much paper.
Yeah. Anyways, that's enough politics today. And before we move on to some dumb AI news, it's time to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Raycon.
I got my everyday earbuds in my pocket like they are every day.
That's right. It's Raycon's anniversary, by the way. What did you get them? What better way to celebrate than with a deal on the Everyday Earbuds Classic? They're now 20% off, so it's the perfect time to get your hands on these. Reliable, super comfy, and easy to take anywhere. You'll see why they've been a fan favorite since day one. The Everyday Earbuds Classic are loaded with upgrades, active noise cancellation, multi-point connectivity so you can pair with 2 devices at once, and an ergonomic fit that actually stays put no matter what you're doing.
The new colors are a vibe. I went with cool mint for my earbuds, and with so many color options, it feels less like just earbuds and more like an accessory that matches your style. These everyday earbuds have everyday features that live up to the name. Quick charge, 10 minutes gives you 90 minutes of playtime. Up to 32 hours of battery life with the case. Awareness mode, perfect when I'm walking the dog or running errands, so I stay tuned into what's happening around me without missing a beat. Plus, over 3 million customers already love Raycons, and they come with a 30-day happiness guarantee. So if you don't love them, returns are easy, so you have nothing to lose. I use these Raycons every single day.
Yeah, I chase Elliot around with a pot and a pan, and I go bang, 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 and he still doesn't see me, unless he's in awareness mode.
Yeah, sometimes I'm in awareness mode, sometimes
me
I'm in
coming
noise
1,000,000 miles
canceling mode, sometimes I got the bass turned up, sometimes I got the bass turned down.
Yeah, he's a real bass freak.
So go to buyraycon.com/newsday to get 20% off the Everyday Earbuds Classic. That's buyraycon.com/newsday.
All right, back to the news. And on the most recent Weekly Weird News episode, we talked about how this past weekend's LA Comic-Con featured the reanimated corpse of comics legend Stan Lee, who, thanks to the magic of AI, would be in attendance years after his death and would be doing Q&A sessions with comic fans who paid to talk to him. The response when this was announced was understandably pretty negative, but it's No surprise that there were still plenty of nerds willing to spend money to talk to a chatbot. And here's just a taste of how that went.
I'm here today as Hollow Stank to join you at the 2025 Los Angeles Comic-Con. For decades, I had the thrill of spinning yarns about heroes and villains in that mighty Marvel manner. But the real heroes have always been you, the fans. Excelsior!
What do you think about the X-Men legacy being so tied to the civil rights movement?
The X-Men's struggles for equality and acceptance were indeed inspired by the civil rights movement. Larry, I think it's safe to say that Stan Lee and the creative team drew parallels between the X-Men's fight for coexistence with humans and the real-world struggles of marginalized communities during that era.
Wow. Excelsior! It was almost, it's a little more advanced than the airport kiosk, but I have seen these around more. The one that he's in where it's like, it's a projection on a box, and they put a shadow to make it look like there's a person in the space within the box. It's like another trick, another like visual trick, but...
My stupid eyes were fooled.
Yeah,
Is that Stan Lee back from the dead? It's like he never died. It's like he's right here in front of me, talking just like the real Stan Lee would, referring to himself in the third person and forming sentences that sound like Wikipedia entries. That's what I miss most about Stan Lee.
Claws cut a coconut?
Great question, Daniel.
Yes, his claws are made of adamantium. They can cut through anything. Thanks for the great question.
Wow, I'm so glad I brought Stan Lee back from the dead to ask him such an important question.
Anyways, it's like Stan Lee never died. It's how can you even mourn him when he's right there?
I'm not crying anymore.
No, it's unclear at this point if this stunt can be considered a success, but it's clearly a symptom of a larger problem. And they're not just trying to resurrect the dead and replace human actors with AI-generated actors. They're trying to create AI-generated movie stars, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it got the actors unions pretty upset this week.
Yeah, as they should be, I think.
Yeah. Here's Reuters.
The recent debut of an AI-generated actress dubbed Tilly Norwood and its producers' boasts of interest from studio executives sparked a backlash on Tuesday from the SAG-AFTRA Actors Union, condemning the replacement of human performers with synthetics. The Hollywood buzz around Tilly Norwood, introduced on Saturday at a film industry conference in Zurich, and the union's scathing reaction to it reflected the dread many in the creative community feel about the intersection of artificial intelligence and show business. The official Tilly Norwood launch consisted of a 20-second appearance of the photoreal character, a 20-something fictional ingenue bearing no particular resemblance to any real celebrity, in a brief video parody about making an AI-generated television show. Dutch actor-producer Eline van der Velden, whose London-based AI production studio Particle 6 created Tilly Norwood, said during her presentation at the Zurich Summit the project was starting to turn heads. After months of facing boardroom skepticism, talent agents were starting to tell her, "We need to do something with you guys," Hollywood trade paper Variety quoted van der Velden as saying. She said an announcement of a first-of-its-kind talent agency deal was a few months away, Variety reported. They're banging on the doors.
Yeah.
Give me Tilly Norwood.
I don't really understand. I know that they'll explain it, but I don't understand what the difference between this and a CGI character would be in the idea of a movie. Like, is this just going to be like
It'll all make sense when you...
it's like a multiverse, but with every movie. This is like what they were trying to pitch when they were trying to put NFTs in video games.
Yeah.
They're like, and then you'll take the sword out of the game and put it in another game, but it'll be the exact same sword.
Uh-huh.
Like if you put this Tilly fucking Norwood whatever in a DreamWorks movie versus a Pixar movie, it's gonna look slightly different. But it's like, oh, but it comes up with its own lines? No, that's the writer's job.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. The more you think about it, the less sense it makes.
That's what you don't think about.
But it's really causing a buzz in the industry.
Yeah, and some person from the industry who was drunk at a party, who was like getting talked to by this lady, was like, oh, yeah, no, everyone wants to work with your AI star. I'm gonna go get another drink from the bar.
Yeah.
Hey, the phones are ringing off the hook.
It's especially funny to me because it's like, you don't think the studios themselves are working on this themselves?
Yeah.
Like, why would they pay this fake actor
Yeah.
money when they're probably working on the same fucking thing. It's just it's so dumb.
I don't understand like the logic of
I'm a huge fan of this Tilly.
all I can picture in my mind is like two 65-year-old dude executives going, and she never ages. That's the great thing.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't get older.
And she can't sue you for sexual misconduct.
That's right. Again, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially if you just ask some basic questions. But yeah, AI-generated footage with fake characters in it. Yeah, okay. A specific AI-generated character being treated like a person and getting their own talent agent and starring in things. That's dumb as hell. They already did this with that fucking Instagram musician.
Yeah, every couple of years, there's like a AI-generated like influencer that pops up.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we got to sign her. Michaela,
like, oh,
or
yeah.
whatever it was. It was like Michaela.
Yeah, people are like, okay,
What does she do?
cool.
I made it on my computer, and she looks like she's a character.
Surely people will follow this fictional person
Forever.
the same way they follow the lives of like actual real life actors and actresses and celebrities and influencers who like actually are out in the world doing shit.
Yeah.
They think we're all stupid.
Well, some people fucking are, and those people run these studios.
Yeah. That's fair.
Thankfully, this mostly just feels like another stunt, like the Stan Lee thing. At this point, Lily Norwood exists solely as an Instagram account in which this fake, non-existent person is presented as if she's a real celebrity, posting cute glimpses at her life, which also, who cares? Again, Michaela, I believe, was the name of
Yeah. It's not even the first person to do this.
You're not real, so why would anyone be into this? It also features clips of her acting work, which really doesn't stand out at all compared to any of the other AI slop that we've seen, except that we're supposed to pretend that this is a real person. It's weird as hell, and we're not sure who this is supposed to appeal to besides the cheapest and most tasteless studio executive. Like, it would be one thing if you were seeing just a slew of, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, where you just see so many movies, like thrown together cheap movies that are filling the bin at Walmart for $5. It's like if this were a real thing and it was actually this cheap and passable, you'd see so many budget garbage movies being made.
Yeah, I mean, we probably.
I'm sure it's happening. I'm sure it's happening, but like, I feel as if the general public is going to see this for the first time, like the first time that a studio really puts their weight behind it and reject it.
Yeah, it's
like, why would I have this when I can have Antonio Banderas as a cat?
Yep, checkmate. Yeah, I don't know. It's I mean, like, did you see like the Sora 2, OpenAI's newest video model? Like, it is genuinely. I'm concerned at like just the amount of misinformation.
Yes, a lot of the stuff I've seen is very bad.
It's just like
because it's believable, which makes it bad.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't see. You'd think if there was an actual use case to this beyond like telling lies, they'd have something to show for it. And I've yet to see that.
The fact that OpenAI,
what is the point of this?
The fact that OpenAI said that they were going to like advance so many like advanced medical science so rapidly, and now they're just launching a social media network where you can post videos of AI generated content. It just shows you where the truth lies here. Like, this is just slop farming.
Yeah.
There's nothing more to it than that.
Yeah, I mean, Instagram, I guess there's a new tab just for like AI creations or whatever. And it's like, what kind of freak is like, fuck this real life shit. Give me the slop. I'm going on a 100% slop diet with my scrolling.
Yeah. Put on the goggles. I'm going in. And it's also, despite this latest news, not actually news, this Tilly Norwood thing. The people behind Tilly have been promoting her for months with the same claims about interest from talent agents, and it didn't make a splash until this week.
Yeah. That's the most damning thing about this is like people looked into it and they're like, wait, they've been saying this exact same shit since like June and July. They're like, oh yeah, we're meeting with talent agents all the time, and they're saying, and you know, here we are months later, and it's just happened to say it at a press conference where like someone decided to actually report on it, but it's not. I don't know.
Well, I'm
Seems like
looking forward to seeing Tilly Norwood in
my favorite actress, Tilly Norwood.
Yeah,
I love the way she performs her roles.
I like that I can download my own version of her into my VR headset and she can live trapped in my basement in the metaverse.
As my prisoner.
That's right.
My slave. But anyway, since Tilly Norwood is now in the news, SAG-AFTRA felt that they needed to come out with an official response, and it's a pretty good response.
Yeah.
I guess Samwise Gamgee is now the head of SAG-AFTRA. Fran Drescher was the old one, and now it's Sean Astin, and
very cool.
Yeah, good for him. To be clear, Tilly Norwood is not an actor. It's a character generated by a computer program that was trained on the work of countless professional performers without permission or compensation. It has no life experience to draw from, no emotion, and from what we've seen, audiences aren't interested in watching computer-generated content untethered from the human experience. It doesn't solve any problem. It creates the problem of using stolen performances to put actors out of work, jeopardizing performer livelihoods, and devaluing human artistry.
Yeah, good. That's correct. That's
No
the correct
lies
take.
detected. That's exactly the right take. But speaking of ways that AI can never replace the work of human artists, Werner Herzog, he's not really, I guess he's done a bit of acting, but he's mostly behind the camera.
Yeah.
But he's one of the most unique creative voices in film. The type of person that an AI is just you're not gonna find your next Werner Herzog in an algorithm. And he went on Conan O'Brien's podcast this week to promote his new book that explores the idea of truth in that particular way that Werner Herzog explores ideas. And AI naturally came up in the discussion. And what he had to say mirrors a lot of our feelings about not just AI, but tech in general lately. Here's Gizmodo with some of what he had to say.
AI, I do not want to put it down completely because it has glorious, magnificent possibilities, he said, citing its potential uses in scientific fields. But at the same time, it is already en route to take over warfare. It will be the overwhelming face of warfare in the future. He also simply can't find much value in generative AI's takes on works of art. I've seen movies, short films, completely created by artificial intelligence. Story, acting, everything. They look completely dead. They are stories, but they have no soul, he told O'Brien. They are empty and soulless. You know, it is the most common, lowest denominator of what is filling billions of informations on the internet. The common denominator and nothing beyond this common denominator can be found in these fabrications. While talking to O'Brien, Herzog brought up how AI generates these falsehoods and how we have to navigate them. And of course, cheating, pretending, propagandizing, all these things are like a nemesis. It is out there, and we have to be alert to it. His advice, simply do not take anything entirely at face value.
Hell yeah.
Again, I say when you are curious and have access to different sources, very quickly you will find this is invented.
Yeah, I mean, this is like what we've been saying is just have some fucking curiosity. Have some critical thinking. Don't distrust everything.
No,
have a healthy amount of skepticism about anything you see and use your fucking brain.
I'm sorry, my brain is going into creating the best prompts.
I'm prompt maxing.
Yeah.
That continues. In general, Herzog is not much for technology. He didn't own a cell phone until, according to his telling, he had to get one after he was unable to retrieve his car, an 18-year-old Ford Explorer, from a parking garage in Dublin without downloading an app. But it's not that
I would have loved to have seen that scenario filmed.
No.
Late again. Oof.
But it's not that he fears it. He just doesn't trust it. Hell yeah. Everything that comes in via your cell phone or your laptop, emails, whatever, you have to distrust. You have to doubt, he told O'Brien. In response, O'Brien offered up that he gets updates on his phone when his cats use the litter box because it is internet connected, and proposed that it should be illegal for anything to require an app to function. Herzog spoke of how natural navigating technology is for younger people, how effortlessly they spot a phishing email that he wouldn't be able to identify. He compared the instincts of humans using technology to those of prehistoric men foraging for food and learning to avoid poisonous berries. They had a natural acquired suspicion about things, and it was so natural that we can certainly assume they didn't hate nature, he said. They just knew how to navigate. And it's the same thing. You don't have to hate the internet and the cell phone and whatever is coming at you in this new media. You just have to maintain a complete level of suspicion. Yeah.
Yeah, good advice from Mr. Werner Herzog. I'm excited for his new book.
The last
one was about the guy who was still on the island.
Yeah, I don't know. He released 2 books last year. One was like a career, just like a memoir, but the other one was about the Japanese soldier who
didn't return home.
Stayed in the wilderness,
They had
the
to get his
Philippines for like
commanding
25
officer
years.
to come
And that one is like a really beautiful, like great book.
Yeah, and it's a
because-
quick read too. It's
but just like the way, I mean, if you've seen his movies, you understand.
you'll
like,
read it in his voice.
the way he like sees the world and describes the world is like so unique
Yeah.
and interesting. And like he is the perfect example of just like the type of thing that AI cannot replicate.
Yeah,
Even
because
if
he's
it
thinking
wanted
about
to.
it from a different point of view than the
Yeah.
normal person in
I
society.
mean, he's definitely on the spectrum somewhere, but in a
but
very
that's what makes
interesting point.
America. Well, that's what makes the world beautiful.
Yeah, if you gave Werner Herzog Tylenol, he would just turn into like anyone else.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Yeah. Take his word for it, folks. Don't believe us. Believe Werner Herzog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely want to check that book out because it sounds interesting.
We'll be back with more news very soon. But in the meantime, make sure you like the video. Make sure you're leaving a comment, replying to a comment, even giving a comment a little thumbs up of his own. Some of the comments are lonely. now.
Engage with the material.
And then
Press buttons.
And then if you want, keeping on the theme of the slop era that we're currently living in, Donald Trump's just posting straight up AI to his timeline.
Yeah.
And, theoretically tricking a bunch of his supporters into believing it.
Yeah, they're lopping up that slop.
They are. They love lop and slop. We'll see you soon for some more episodes and see you later. Bye.
Bye.